And tell me about how you got it. Mubashir?
I got the answer was 35. How I got it, I already knew, because 7 times 5 and 7 times 4 like 28, and 7 times 5 is 35.
Sorry, can you tell me again how you got it?
I already knew, and by like the 7 times table, like 7 times 4 is 28, and 7 times 5 is 35.
7 times 5 is 35. So then how did that help you to get your answer?
Because it's a 0.7 and that's a 0.28, so I did 7 plus 28.
And your answer was?
0.37.
0.37.
I mean 35.
Okay, 0.35. Does anybody disagree or have a different answer? Aisha?
For me and my partner, we turned 0.28 and 0.7 into fractions.
So you turned 0.28 and 0.7 into fractions. How did you do that?
Because we knew that when there's like 0 point and then there's 2 numbers after, that means the denominator is going to be 100. And if it's one number after 0 point, if there's one number after, then it's going to be, the denominator is going to be 10.
Okay, it could be 10, sure. So then how did you make them into fractions? What were your fractions?
It was 28 over 100 and 7 over 10.
28 over 100 plus 7 over 10.
Yeah. So then
What did you do next?
we made the denominators equal, so we multiplied 7 by 10 and 10 by 10, and we got 70 over 100.
Alright, so then your next line would look like 28 over 100 plus 70 over 100. And your final answer was?
98 over 100.
98 over 100. And what would you do next? Did you leave your answer like that, or could you convert it?
We converted it into decimal, and we got 0.98.
0.98. Alright. Did anyone use a different method to get their answer? You added them?
Yeah.
Okay. How did you add them?
0.28 and 207.
The 7 is under the 2?
Yeah.
And we can put a 0 here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then so you just lined them up and added them this way?
Yes.
Alright. 7 and 2. And you moved your decimal down here. Alright. Were there any other methods that were used? Or anything to add on? Any questions? Ali?
So what me and my partner did was that we got 0.28 and converted it into a fraction. So we knew that if we needed to put in a fraction, we needed to remove the decimal point. So we moved it 2 spaces back. So then we knew if we put it 2 spaces back, we need to have like two zeros. So like it would equal to 28 over 100. And then we knew that if we moved it 2 points, it has to be 100. Because if we converted it back, we had to move 2 points.
Okay.
So that it was 28 over 100. Then we had 0.7. So how we converted it was that we knew that 0.7 equals 7 over 10. So we knew that we need to convert the 10 into 100. So we did 10 times 10, which equals 100. And we need to do the same for the numerator. So then we got the answer 70 over 100. Then we converted the 70 into a decimal, which was 0.70. And the decimal for 20 over 100 was 0.28. And then we multiplied them to get, added them together, and we got 0.98.
And then so you used a fraction, then you went back to a decimal?
Yes.
Okay, so then we did 0.28 plus 0.7 0.70, and then you added those together, and then you got 0.98. Okay, that's another way of doing it. Taha, did you want to add on?
Yeah, what I would say is when Maisha was talking, she said that if there's one number after the zero, after the decimal, then it has to be out of 10. It's not always going to be out of 10. Like a couple of lessons before, we're talking about the dimes, how like 0.6 will equal to 60, right? So it could be like that. So 0.7 could also equal to 70 over 100.
Right, because you know that even if you add a 0 after this 7, it doesn't change the value of the number, right?
Yeah.
So that's still the same as 0.7. But they are equivalent, right?
So then, Taha, what else can that equal? What can 0.7, if 0.7 is equal to 0.7d, can it be equal to another number?
Zero, like in decimals,
Yes.
you can do 0.7 and then 2 zeros after.
And then what
You
else?
Just keep going.
Right.
And
Same. They're equivalent. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, so the zeros don't change the value of that number. Aaliyah?
We did almost the same thing of Maisha, but we didn't actually do a long step on how to convert it from the tens to hundred. We already knew that after, like, if it's one digit after the decimal, it would be over over 100, because it would be an imaginary zero at the end. So we just started by adding up all the numbers, which would equal 0.98, and then we turned it into a fraction and converted it to a decimal after, instead of doing all the long process of getting it to
So
100.
you started and you had 0.28 plus 0.7, and
Yeah.
what did you do
We
next?
already knew that it would be 0.70,
Okay.
since it's an imaginary zero at the end, and then we added that up, and we converted it to a decimal after the fraction.
You converted it to
A fraction.
a fraction afterwards?
Yeah.
How did you do that?
And then it would be like 28 over 100 plus 70 over 100 equals 98 over 100, which also equals 0.98.
Equals 98 over 100, which is equivalent to 0.9.
Can you say that again?
Like, what me and my partner did is that we rounded the numbers. So, for example, like 0.28, we made it into 0.30. We made it into 0.30, and then for the 7, we just added a 0, which gave us like one whole. And then since we added like 2 to get the 30, then we did a 1 whole minus 0.02, which gave us 0.98. Sure.
Sorry, so you had 0.30 and 0.70?
Yeah, which
And
gave,
then what happened next?
which gave us like one whole.
Okay.
And then since we added 2 to get to 30, we just subtracted that, and which gave us 0.98.
Right, so minus 0.02
Yeah.
equals 0.
You guys know what that's called? Starts with a C.
Yeah.
Basha, did you have something to add?
Well, I feel complex ideas to like 70 plus.
You did 70 plus 28,
Yeah, so
and then, so did you do 70 plus 28? 0.7 is equivalent to 7 over 10, and another equivalent would be 70 over 100. If you had 7 over 100, it would be equivalent to 0.07. So we want to make sure that we don't add a 0 in there, because that wasn't in our initial question.
And then one misconception I saw is 0.25 plus 0.7 is equal to 0.35. I saw this quite a bit. Can anyone tell me why 0.28 plus 0.7 equals 0.35 happened? We know it's wrong, but why did it happen? Let's discuss why, and I'm going to capture it nice and clear. So Viraj, tell Miss Brown why this happened, and I'm going to write down your answer here.
Because A equals to 35, 0.35, so
So 28, 20 over 100.
Are you saying that people added, the misconception, Viraj, was people did 28 plus 7
Yeah,
equals 35?
yeah, because so 8 plus 7 is 15, and you put a 1 there.
So he's saying that because people did 7, see, it's supposed to be 7 over 10, the misconception was that it was what, Tim?
Yeah. They thought it was 100.
7 over 100. Now, that was done purposely because, believe it or not, this misconception could cost you later on, like when it comes to money, right? Because sometimes when the values are written, they don't put, some places don't put like the final decimal. So if, for example, if you go to a store